Hi, fans of high quality entertainment. Today's video is about, through the years I bought a lot of music related CDs, magazines, box sets. And today's video is on the box sets that I bought in the past that I no longer have in my collection. For the most part, I don't miss any of them. Maybe I regret selling one of them, but the other ones I feel, like I said, I don't really miss that much. And also, I think all of us that are big music fans, sometimes we overdo it buying CDs because we love music so much and we get excited when there's a new box set out. And I especially love when an artist compiles their whole discography in a box set. And even if I'm not a huge fan of the band, I sometimes have an interest in it. And then I realize after I buy the box set, I'm not that interested in it. But not that it's, not that any of these box sets or bands are bad or artists. So these aren't ranked or anything. I'm just showing you. I think I've got 14 box sets in total. And there's probably more that I've bought throughout the years. And also, when I moved to this apartment after my marriage breakup, I was kind of, depressed and everything. So I bought way too much. At the time, I had the money to buy a lot of music, and so I kind of overdid it with some of the, CDs and box sets that I did buy. But I think all of us music fans are guilty of buying too much stuff, and then later on you end up selling it. So here we go. First up, Genesis, the box set 1970 to 1975. Now I do have all of these CDs that are in the box set, the studio albums like Foxtrot, Nursery Crime. And this box set is 2008 remasters, stereo mix, and they also had the 5.1 surround mix and bonus visual content where they had DVDs where the band members would talk about each of the albums, which was very interesting. But I don't regret selling this. I sold it to one of my viewers a few years back because he offered me $300 for it. And so I took him up on his offer. And I didn't even, I bought that box set at the time. It was certainly not $300. So I kind of made a profit selling the box set. And like I said, I did buy each of the studio albums. So it was a win-win situation for me and the viewer. But yeah, that was an excellent box set. That's the first one. Kate Bush. This was part one of her discography, and I was planning to get part two. But, once again, I really do respect Kate Bush, very talented artist. But, it would, when I bought the CD, I did enjoy it, but then it would just sit month after month and gather dust, and I ended up selling it, and I don't regret selling it. There's just so much great music in the world, and so, like I said, great artist. Next up, UFO, the complete studio albums. Yeah, I didn't have this box set for very long. Back in the day, I bought Lights Out, which was awesome, and is it called Obsession? The one after Lights Out. And I think I had their live album too. But the other albums, I really, I listened to them, but wasn't really that interested in them. So, like I said, some of these box sets, you kind of do regret buying them. Not that I dislike the band. And if you're a big fan of UFO, then that would be excellent for you to have if you don't have all of their albums. Next up, Canadian content. Some of you might not know this band, Max Webster. They used to open up for Rush on some of their tours, and there's actually a song on one of the Max Webster albums where Rush plays with them, collaboration. I really love their debut album, simply called Max Webster, and then High Class and Borrowed Shoes. And then they just got a bit more commercial as their discography went along. And so I kind of wasn't as interested in them. I would like to get maybe their debut album, maybe their first couple of albums at some point. But once again, I bought it, I played it, I enjoyed it, and then it just sat on my shelf gathering dust. Next up. Yeah, the Cars. I bought the Cars. This was their whole discography, and I love their debut album, Candy O, the second album, and some of the other albums. Once again, they were just a bit too commercial for my liking. But great band, nothing against them, but just some, like I said, some of these box sets I get excited when they come out. Oh, all of the Cars albums. I need that in my collection. And then you realize, a few months later, I didn't need that in my collection. Next up. Yeah, I think this is one of the first box sets I bought when I moved into this apartment building. I don't think I even made a video about it. It's Neil Young Archives, Volume 1. I think it came with DVD audio. Because I remember, yeah, it must have been DVDs because at the time I didn't have Blu-rays. But it comes with CDs and whatever. That's the thing about Neil Young. I've got some Neil Young albums, CDs. And as much as I really like Neil Young, early Neil Young, the first dozen albums or so, I never really play him. Like the CDs I have sit in my collection year after year, and I very rarely play them. Next up. Yep, Cheap Trick. All of their albums on the Epic Records label. Probably, I don't know, maybe 12 albums or so. I love their debut. It's one of my favorite debut albums. In Color is great. So, their first 3, 4, 5 albums are really good. And then the other ones I didn't really care for as much. And then I do have their debut album in my collection still. I would like to get In Color, but other than that, I don't need the Cheap Trick complete albums collection. Next up, more Canadian content. BTO, yeah, this was all of their early albums. Sometimes I think it would be nice to still have it in my collection, but once again, I'm going to play one of their albums once every 2 or 3 years. So, and I can always listen to them on Spotify. But yeah, it was just a little box set, but it was good. But I don't regret selling it because I got other stuff with it that I probably still have in my collection. Bob Dylan. That's right. I bought the Bob Dylan complete collection. Once again, this is when I first moved into this apartment. So whenever this was released is when I did buy it. And there are times I kind of wish I didn't sell it, but I certainly don't want it again. I'm not going to even, so don't send it to me. It's okay. I'm not making this video so somebody sends me a box set because, like I said, I don't regret selling any of these. I did regret selling my ELO box set, and one of my very kind viewers, Carl, thank you very much, sent it to me, and I still have it in my collection forever. But yeah, I just realized after I bought it, and I did enjoy it, but I also realized I'm not as big of a Bob Dylan fan as I thought I was. Next up. Now, this one, sometimes you do stupid things. I bought this once. I enjoyed it because I love especially early ZZ Top up to Eliminator. And I had it for, a couple of years. And then once again, I realized I wasn't listening to it at all. So I sold it. And then a few years later, I see it on Amazon at a really cheap price or inexpensive price, like $40 for all of those albums. And once again, you get all excited. Oh, that's a great deal. I'm going to buy it. But I never played it much. So I ended up selling it twice, right? And yeah, I sold it maybe 4, 5 years ago, and I don't regret selling it. Even though I do love early ZZ Top, but I'm kind of over hearing any of their albums because I've heard them so much in my life. Dire Straits, the studio albums. Yeah, but the only one I really love is Brothers in Arms, and mainly for the title song. And I don't, some great bands. I'm sure there are some great bands that you're not a fan of. Just because they're a great band doesn't mean you're gonna also love them. But so I don't regret selling that box set at all. But I tried. Next up, almost done. I think this is the last one. Yeah. Yeah. Iron Butterfly, an anthology, 1967, 1971, a really classy box set, really well done. And this is probably the only one I sometimes wish, I had in my collection, especially, the early albums. But even the later albums were pretty good. But yeah, if I was stupid enough and I bought it again, I wouldn't play it very much. I know that. And I can always listen to Inagata Davida on Spotify. But, very underrated band. And if you're interested in Iron Butterfly, that's a highly recommended box set with all of their studio and live albums from back in the day. And that is it. So, yeah, I'd be curious if you've ever bought some. I'm sure some, like I said, a lot of us music fans, we get so obsessed with music and we overdo it buying things. And I see it on other YouTube channels, which I won't mention, but, they trade in CDs or box sets. And I'd be curious if you've ever bought some box sets and for whatever reason you ended up not keeping the box set. And that is it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.